Hello, fellow humans, and welcome to the online version of my LSAT prep course. And I'm going to offer you a complete step-by-step guide to every part of the LSAT so you can master the test and feel comfortable on test day. The videos and instruction that I provide in this online course is exactly the same in the concepts, ideas, and exercises that I provide to my students both in my private tutoring as well as in the LSAT prep courses that I teach at my university. This lecture course is geared to all levels, whether you're a beginner who's never taken the LSAT before, or maybe you've taken the LSAT or another prep course and you're looking for more instruction. Either way, this course is going to work for you, and you'll learn something that will help you as you prepare for the LSAT, and that's the goal. For over 15 years, I've been a professor teaching logic, critical reasoning, and philosophy to undergrads. And for the last 4 years, I've been tutoring students privately for the LSAT. I've taught LSAT prep courses for pre-law societies for my university, and I've designed and implemented a course on critical reasoning in the law. And so now I want to share that class with you in an online forum. In this class, I've also taken steps to bring to bear the latest in educational theory and practice, so that in addition to the videos, I've also included drills, exercises, spaced repetition, active learning, and metacognition in the skills that I want you to develop as you prepare for the test. Watch these videos and follow this instructional guide. Now, some of what I'm going to ask you to do doesn't seem to bear directly on the LSAT, and for those things, I just need you to trust me. These are the same things that I have my students do as well, and it's part of my overall philosophy about teaching LSAT that you have to develop the appropriate skills. And that skill development, though you're going to apply it on the LSAT, oftentimes means that you're practicing skills that don't seem like they have a particular bearing, but ultimately do and will improve your score. And I'm very focused on teaching skills in addition to teaching you how to take this test. So some of what you're going to have to do, some of what I ask you to do doesn't bear directly on the LSAT, but for those things I ask that you trust me, believe that they will work for you. Because I don't think that you should be preparing for the LSAT in terms of either the score you need or the score you want. I think you should be preparing for the LSAT in terms of the score you think it's impossible for you to get. Because if you have that dedication to trying to do better than you thought was possible, that persistence, that motivation is going to keep you committed to the LSAT. And I think you're going to see a score increase and a final score really different from what you ever expected. Now, let's talk a little bit about what you're going to need as you follow along with this course. And these things are also available in a document on my website as well. First, you're going to need these. These are the actual prep tests published by the LSAT. These are LSAT tests that have been administered in previous cycles, so that you know when you're working with these materials that you're working with a test that the LSAT specifically designed and administered to students. These are the only test items that I want you to work on, and so I'd like you to pick up all of these books. Especially as we deal with specific test items, I can't show you those items. I can't present them on screen. I can talk about them, but you're going to need to have them in front of you. And that means you're going to need to have copies of these books. The LSAT sells them in sets of 10. So you can buy 10 tests at a time, anywhere from test 19 all the way up to test 80 something. I would recommend that you get all of those books. I'd also like you to get this book. Now, full disclaimer, I have no connection to these authors. I have no connection to this academic press. I have no possible way to make money off of this. It's just that over the years, this has always been the book that I've recommended to my students as they learn the skills of critical reasoning to get ready for taking the LSAT. This is a book that has been written at an introductory level to cover all of the things that ultimately are going to benefit you on the LSAT. They didn't write it for the LSAT, but it just carries all of those basic fundamentals that you have to master. And best of all, you can usually pick up an older edition for pennies on the dollar. You don't have to, unless you want to. You don't have to buy the newest edition. Just get one of those older editions that are cheaply available and work with that. Finally, you're going to need this. Get yourself a nice spiral bound notebook. keep it with you, and you're going to record everything that you do in that notebook. And if you're doing it right, you're probably going to go through 2 or 3 notebooks. But go ahead and pick up a spiral-bound notebook for you to record everything you're doing. And I'm going to talk in another video about how you're going to use that notebook to help you prepare. I'd also recommend that you pick up a critical reasoning textbook. This is just to fill out your knowledge, allow you to practice critical reasoning skills without using up test items that appear on the LSAT. Now, I don't want to recommend a specific critical reasoning book. However, if you go with a good academic press, you really can't go wrong. The press that I enjoy using quite a bit is Oxford University Press because they're very student-centered. They work hard to keep prices down, and that means that it translates cheaper books to you. Just get a used critical thinking book. Pick up an older edition critical thinking book. It's not as if these skills at the undergraduate level have really changed a whole lot, so an older book is just as fine as a newer book, right? So go ahead, pick one up and just work through it on your own. Read the exercises. Read the chapters, do the exercises, look at the answer keys, and begin to build a base of strong critical thinking. This won't just help you on the LSAT, it'll also help you in law school and give you a competitive edge. And finally, you're going to need this. This is the official website of the Law School Admission Council. These are the people who administer the LSAT. On this website, you're going to find everything that you need to understand what the LSAT is, what it's like to take the test, and the different testing options that are available, especially now as we're going through this pandemic. Especially if you're completely new to the LSAT, this is a website you want to spend some time on. And the reason why is because you'll get everything you need about the LSAT from the people who administer the test. Now, one last thing. I'm a big believer in data. And I'm a big believer in data-driven choices. So you're going to be gathering as much data as you can while you prepare for the LSAT, and you're going to use that data to target places for performance improvement to help you study as efficiently as possible. Now, one of the most important areas where we're going to generate data is right at the beginning and right at the end. So if you haven't already done so, I want you to go ahead and take an LSAT pretest. Just pick an LSAT test, or you can use the suggestion that I offer on my website and find that test. Whatever you do, just get an old official LSAT test, take it under timed conditions, see how you do. It doesn't matter if the result is good. It doesn't matter if the result is bad. All that needs to happen is that you have a baseline score. And then at the end of this course, you're going to take another LSAT, and that's going to be your value-added LSAT. That's where you're going to see and record the difference that you've produced between that initial assessment and this final assessment. Whether that's in the actual LSAT, whether it's a final practice test, we want those maximum minimum numbers, okay? You are going to be taking practice LSATs throughout this course, but those are going to be your pre and post. All right, so if you're ready to get to work, stay tuned for the next video on self-assessment, and we're going to get started.